What makes an individual a hero? If you were to ask a group of people, each person would probably give you a different answer. Some might think of their favorite athlete, while others may consider a political figure who had to fight years of adversity. There are those who view the word hero as someone who does the right thing no matter what. They selflessly put their lives on the line. Some heroes fight for the rights of children. Others offer free medical services to those who can't afford it. Many heroes have one thing in common. They did what they did, not for recognition, but because it was the right thing to do. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 real stories of everyday heroes. #25. Witold Pilecki was a 39-year-old veteran of the Polish-Soviet War. He had heard of the mass murders happening at Auschwitz and decided to do something. Pilecki volunteered to be imprisoned at the camp so he could escape and inform the Allies. Although he did escape eventually, he was executed by Stalin for foreign imperialism. 24. Heroes come in all ages. When Roy Madrid Jr. and Chris Martinez were getting gas, they heard a scream for help from a young mother. Her car had been stolen, with her children still inside. The two teens chased the car thief down, and the children were saved. 23. Alexi Annan, Valery Bezpilov, and Boris Baranov were three men who bravely swam through the radioactive waters of Chernobyl in order to prevent a nuclear meltdown. The three men, sometimes called the Suicide Squad, kept the power plant from melting down by opening sluice gates beneath the power plant and potentially saving millions of lives. These three heroes survived the harrowing experience. 22. If you're ever driving along a busy street, you may see a homeless person selling a little newspaper called The Voice. The Voice was invented by Rajinder Jahar, a man who became a quadriplegic after a failed home robbery. Jahar was shot in the spine and told he would never walk again. He used his time to create the newspaper, which brings awareness about people who struggle with disabilities. 21. You don't have to chase down a criminal or run into a burning building in order to be a hero. Sometimes answering a cry for help is enough. When 14-year-old James Person III was home alone with his siblings, he heard a loud bang on the door and a plea for help. The cries were from a female student at Central Michigan University. She had been sexually assaulted and managed to escape. Person let the woman in. Her attacker found out where she was and lit the house on fire. Luckily, the boy's father arrived home in time to put the fire out. 20. Dr. George Whaley is a medical doctor who volunteers his medical services to provide care to those in rural areas of Cameroon. After watching his father become ill and realizing not enough doctors were available, Dr. Whaley realized he had to do something. Dr. Whaley, along with other volunteers, have helped over 30,000 people receive health care. 19. Frank Serpico is a retired NYPD officer. He's known for being the first police officer to report police corruption in New York City. He's responsible for helping create the Knapp Commission in 1970, which battles corruption in the police force. He was portrayed by Al Pacino in the film Serpico. 18. Many times, being a hero can mean not doing anything. Stanislav Petrov was a duty officer at Serpico 15, a secret command center responsible for watching over Soviet satellites in the U.S. One night, a missile alarm went off, signaling that the U.S. had fired. However, Petrov knew that the alarms were in the early stages and told his commanders he believed this alarm to be inaccurate. He turned out to be right and successfully diverted nuclear catastrophe. 17. Paul Rusesabagina is a humanitarian from Rwanda. During a 100-day war between the Hutu and the Tutsi, Rusesabagina hid and protected over 1,000 refugees in the Hôtel des Mille Collines. Rusesabagina was an assistant manager of the hotel at the time. Don Cheadle played Rusesabagina in the movie Hotel Rwanda.
16.
James Harrison is responsible for saving over 2 million babies. Well, technically his blood is responsible. Harrison has a very rare blood type, able to produce antibodies that can cure babies who are born with rare rhesus disease.
15.
Yukio Shige is a retired Japanese police officer. He now dedicates his time to prevent people from jumping off the cliffs of Toginbo. He has saved many lives simply by offering compassion and a listening ear.
14.
Lisanna Bali is a Muslim-born Malian. He worked at a kosher supermarket in Paris. One day, a gunman entered the market and began killing customers who were Jewish. Bali gathered all the survivors he could find and hid them in the freezer until help arrived.
13.
Robert Cook was a 22-year-old skydiving instructor who saved the life of a young woman during a skydiving lesson. The plane they were flying in had engine failure and began to free fall. Cook calmly gave the woman instructions and acted as a human shield, taking the brunt of the force during impact. Miraculously, the woman survived in spite of suffering injuries. Cook and several others did not survive the crash.
12.
Kyle Carpenter is a retired United States Marine veteran. He selflessly jumped on top of a live grenade and saved his friend's life. Carpenter lost the majority of his teeth, his right eye, and suffered many broken bones. Thankfully, he is still alive and is the youngest living person to receive the Medal of Honor.
11.
Kandi Lightner is the founder of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, or MAD. She founded the organization after her young daughter was killed by a repeat drunk driving offender. According to their reports, they've saved over 300,000 lives.
10.
Nearly everyone knows who Rosa Parks was. She was an African-American woman who refused to surrender her bus seat to a white man. Her actions got her arrested, but her bravery inspired many. One thing it inspired was the Montgomery bus boycott, a protest against segregated seating during which African Americans refused to ride the bus. The protest lasted over a year. Rosa Parks is often considered the mother of the civil rights movement.
9.
Steve Buscemi may not be your average everyday hero. He is worth mentioning, though. Before he was a famous actor, Buscemi was an NYC firefighter. After the terrorist attack on 9/11, Buscemi volunteered with his old unit to search for survivors.
8.
Danijela Toome is a child rights activist and foster mom. She is also the founder of One Simple Wish, a website that allows people to grant wishes for kids in the foster care system. These wishes might include a Christmas tree, games, or toys for kids who have very little.
7.
Richard Norris is the founder of the Emilio Norris Foundation. The foundation was named after his son, who died of leukemia. Norris helps young patients get to their chemo appointments by offering free transportation.
6.
Dale Beatty was an Army veteran who co-founded Purple Heart's Home. Beatty helped thousands of veterans to find adequate housing and health care when they returned home from the war. Beatty passed away at 39 years of age, but in spite of his short lifespan, he made a lasting difference.
5.
Mark Patterson saved the life of a young man who was being attacked by a cougar. Patterson saw that the boy was going to be killed, so he sprang into action without a moment's thought. At first, he was unable to force the animal to let go of the boy, but he refused to give up. He ended up scaring the animal off, thus saving the young boy's life.
4.
Eli Cohen was a spy for Israel during the Syrian war. His brave efforts helped the Israeli forces triumph during war efforts in the 1960s. Cohen was so effective as a spy that he managed to get close to high-ranking officials. Sadly, he was discovered in 1965 and executed in Syria on national television.
3.
Norman Borlaug was an agronomist who helped launch what is often called the Green Revolution. The Green Revolution has helped increase agricultural production across the world. Borlaug won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970 for his lasting contributions to the world's food supplies. 2. Henrietta Lacks is indirectly responsible for creating the polio vaccine. Lacks had originally gone to Johns Hopkins for a lump near her cervix. After a biopsy, she discovered that she had cervical cancer. The cancer cells were multiplying at an alarming rate, and sadly, Lacks died before she could get treatment. After her death, however, the doctor sent her blood to many professionals, including Jonas Salk. Using Lacks's blood, Salk created the polio vaccine, which has saved many lives. 1. Peter Tabuchi is his teacher from Kenya. Most of his students live in extreme poverty or come from single-family households. Not wanting them to fail or quit school because of these stresses, he donates 80% of his salary to help these students. This way, they have less to worry about and can focus on their schoolwork. He was recently recognized as the world's best teacher and given $1 million. Our guess is that he put much of it straight back into helping others. So, who's your hero? Let us know in the comments below, or tweet your answer to us at List25.
Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button on the bottom right and the notification bell so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these videos here or just head to our website at list25.com.